Imagine a global economy that's teetering on the brink of collapse, where nations are crippled by crippling debt and trade wars. Every day, 500 million people live in poverty, while the world's wealthiest 1% hold more wealth than the entire population of sub-Saharan Africa. What if I told you that our current economic system is not just failing, but also intentionally designed to keep us trapped? In this video, we'll uncover the shocking truth behind the cascade, how the world economy is failing. Join me on a journey into the heart of chaos and discover what's really happening. Welcome to the Cascade, where we're exploring the crumbling foundation of our global economy. The concept of the cascade has its roots in the 2008 financial crisis, when a perfect storm of deregulation, over-leveraging, and technological disruption pushed the world's economies to the brink. Since then, we've seen a series of interconnected crises, from sovereign debt defaults to climate-related catastrophes, all pointing to a single, insidious truth: our economic systems are failing us. The cascade is more than just a metaphor, it's a warning, a clarion call to rethink our values and rebuild for the future. Imagine a delicate ice sculpture left out in the cold. At first, it stands strong and unbroken, but as the minutes tick by, the temperature drops further, and the structure begins to crack. Small cracks spread, like ripples on a pond, until the entire thing shatters into 1,000 pieces. This is what's happening with our global economy, a series of small cracks that are spreading rapidly, leading to catastrophic consequences. We're not just talking about individual nations or companies. We're talking about the very fabric of our economic system itself. The world economy's failures are not solely the result of individual countries' actions, but rather a complex interplay of global factors. A crucial misconception lies in thinking that growth and stability are inherently linked to rising debt levels. In reality, our addiction to credit has created a self-reinforcing cycle, where governments and corporations rely on borrowed money to fuel consumption, further fueling demand for more debt. This toxic loop threatens the very foundations of modern economies, leaving us vulnerable to catastrophic collapse. The truth is, growth is no longer sustainable without radical reform. The cascade is a complex web of interconnected systems, where financial instability leads to economic downturn. It starts with individual debt issues, causing consumer spending to slow down, which in turn affect the banking sector. As banks struggle to absorb these losses, they begin to freeze credit lines and reduce lending, further exacerbating the crisis. This creates a ripple effect throughout the economy, leading to business failure, job losses, and eventually widespread economic collapse. Understanding this process is crucial to grasping the severity of our current economic situation. In the rural town of Paradise, California, a devastating wildfire ravaged the local economy. The blaze destroyed homes, businesses, and infrastructure, leaving over 1,000 residents without shelter or access to basic necessities. The town's primary employer, a small logging company, was forced to shut down, leaving many workers without jobs. The loss of these jobs had a ripple effect throughout the community, as local restaurants and shops struggled to stay afloat. This disaster is a stark example of the cascade, how the world economy is failing, where one event sets off a chain reaction of devastating consequences. Successful people know that the cascade is not just about debt, it's also about the erosion of trust in institutions. They understand that when we lose faith in our governments, banks, and corporations, we become more susceptible to economic instability. This is where the concept of financial illiteracy comes into play, a widespread lack of understanding about how financial systems work. It's not just about math, it's about perspective. The cascade is also fueled by the widening wealth gap, where the rich get richer and the poor struggle to make ends meet. This is the unseen enemy. Let's take a closer look at the auto industry, specifically the collapse of Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, or FCA, in 2019. The company was on the brink of bankruptcy due to excessive debt and declining sales. The crisis highlighted the interconnectedness of global supply chains, as the company's struggle led to parts shortages and production halts across multiple countries. This cascade effect is eerily familiar in today's complex world economy, where even a single failure can have far-reaching consequences. It's a stark reminder that our increasingly interconnected systems are vulnerable to shockwaves. Nature abstract decay, by the way, if you want to go deeper on this topic. I've linked some resources in the description below, including Grammarly, which I personally recommend. Investors and economists often overlook the role of systemic fragility, leading to catastrophic failure. One common mistake is underestimating the interconnectedness of global financial systems. This can result in a ripple effect that's impossible to predict or contain. Another pitfall is failing to diversify assets beyond traditional sources, making portfolios vulnerable to sudden shocks. Lastly, ignoring or downplaying warning signs, such as debt buildup and asset bubbles, can lead to devastating consequences. By recognizing these pitfalls, viewers can better prepare for the inevitable cascade of economic failure. As we navigate the complexities of the cascade, it's essential to take control of our finances. Here are some practical tips to get you started today. First, create an emergency fund to cover 3-6 months of living expenses. This will help you weather financial storms and avoid going into debt. Next, pay off high-interest debts as soon as possible, whether it's credit card balances or personal loans. Then, consider investing in tax-advantaged retirement accounts, such as a Roth IRA or 401(k). Finally, start tracking your expenses to identify areas where you can cut back and save. Take action now. In next 5-10 years, we're heading towards a world where inequality and systemic failures will be irreversible. The consequences of our current action will become increasingly apparent. Climate change will ravage ecosystems, displacing millions and disrupting global food supply. Economic instability will lead to social unrest and migration crises. It's not too late to course correct, but the window for change is rapidly closing. Your future depends on it. We must adapt, innovate, and hold leaders accountable. The fate of our planet and its inhabitants hangs in the balance. We're running out of time. Here is the summary and call to action. In conclusion, we've uncovered the devastating consequences of the cascade on our global economy. The rising debt bubble, monetary policy failures, and inequality are just a few symptoms of a more profound disease. We've seen how these interconnected issues threaten the very foundations of modern society. So, what can you do? Take control of your financial future by starting an emergency fund this week. Subscribe to my channel for more insights on personal finance and economics. Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. I want to hear from you. Nature Decay Fracture.